Hello and welcome to my new channel. This is my first video, so it's gonna be very non-professional. I'm also using a script, so just to get that out of the way. And English is not my mother's tongue, but I'm gonna try anyway. I don't care, because the message is more important. And I'm probably gonna add some subtitles as well. Okay. In this video I want to help you. I want to try to help you with my own strategy, very outside the box, to stop smoking cigarettes. The only thing is, I'm going to address your addiction, and it's going to be somewhat different than your classical approaches, or you may have read in the past, or I'm guessing it's going to be a little eccentric, and I'm definitely not going to make people start smoking, so why not? First of all, when you read like mainstream how to stop smoking in 7 days, I'm not trying to tell you anything. You have to ask yourself how to stop in 7 days. What was the meaning of that? You're only going to stop 7 days, like a cigarette vacation? Do you think it's a one-size-fits-all solution? What do you think? Because most of the so-called, no so-called, I'm just a little careful using the word addiction, and I will try to explain that as well a little later. It's very psychological. Most is a key in your head. And I'm sorry for sometimes mixing Spanish words. In my English, I don't do it on purpose. It's because I'm Norwegian. Long story. But you have to think, when it comes to cigarette addiction, you have to think about one thing. Most of it is psychological. And there is no specific way out. You will see that described in many cases. I'm going to try to help you see your own addiction, your own toxic part of your personality, what you want to call it. We're going to twist around, turn a little, because addiction is a very, you're giving cigarettes much force when you use the word addiction. It's very heavy. It's like the discussion stopper. Science says, and it's a fact, question mark. And what does science not say? For example, you just have to question everything, including words. I'm fortunately not a doctor, and this is not medical advice, but I don't see any harm trying to make you stop smoking. I'm sorry for looking a little bit on, I'm trying not to get uh, I'm gonna make several videos about stopping smoking, so I'm trying to keep the train on track. Of course, some of the paths and some of the timelines are the same or very similar. But maybe, just maybe, you tried almost everything, if not everything in your opinion, when you had. And you still haven't managed to quit. Perhaps you read a book, Finally No Smoker. It's so embarrassing I don't remember it in English title. With the man himself, King, Alan Carr. Finally non-smoker now. But you get it. It's like the stop smoking guru. Maybe you read it several times. Maybe you read it slowly because you're allowed to smoke when reading. He actually advises you not to stop smoking before finishing the book. And yeah, hence you're buying time. I get it. Been there. It's also very important to know what I'm telling you is based on. So if I seem arrogant or if I seem like I'm joking with you, it's on me, okay? It's on my. It's based on my personal experience, so it's on me. I'll double it. Okay. You read about people reading this book. I'm not gonna make a big commercial about the book by Alan Carr, but he is a genius and he is maybe misunderstood in some cases. I would like to say is. I know he passed away, but I would like to say is because he is still saving lives. So what's special about this man? Anthony Hopkins. Sir Anthony Hopkins. I definitely think he deserves that title. I have tremendous respect for him as well. He stated, I think it's in his, what do you call it, IMDb. He himself said he was a big smoker for many decades, and I'm not quoting directly, but I think he said something like when he was finished with the book, he walked away. And this is a man I have tremendous respect for. He is a deep intellectual. I'm thinking he wouldn't say that if he didn't mean it. He's not to find in your mainstream commercials, marketing. And of course, it's tempting, just read a book, let it sink in, and something happens and you just don't want to smoke. So what exactly is it? And now I need my script a little bit like here. And I will get to my personal introduction as well. The thing about that book, and personally, still, I'm sorry. I realized one thing after reading the book, because I didn't stop smoking, but I was definitely more aware of the dangerous, the toxicity. I could no longer enjoy a cigarette as blindly as I could before. So something had happened. I was more aware. He even destroyed my holy, I called it, I still do, but it's of course, and I had this holy moment. I never had this moment when I got up in the morning, usually very early, maybe 5 o'clock in the morning. I was often at the gym 6 o'clock, 6:30 maybe, and before anything I would make 2 big cups of coffee. I would sit on the balcony and I would smoke like 4, 5, maybe 6 cigarettes before breakfast. So after that I had some water, maybe just to feel a little, but nothing was gonna be in my way. But after the book, I still had 5, 6 cigarettes. I still had my coffee. I still enjoyed the moment. I still woke up happy because I was going to have my holy moment. But now, after the book, it was it's a dangerous holy moment. And yeah, I love it, but I have to quit soon. That's the price. Enjoy now, and you're soon quitting. I was more aware of this as something. I couldn't just smoke. You think it's not dangerous, it's ridiculous, it's stupid. Everybody knows that. But we're going to continue a little bit. We could definitely call it a holy danger. I couldn't take a drag. I could take a drag, and I did. But not without this voice in the back of my head saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" So Ellen Carr did that to me, and it was in a combination of a well-earned and hard-learned strategy and awareness of getting rid of every bad habit and addiction with a goal of being healthy, because that's something I never really experienced. You cannot call yourself healthy. You cannot call yourself healthy as long as you're smoking. If you're only smoking 5 cigarettes a day, you're going to the gym, you're training, you're going for long walks, eating healthy, skincare, whatever, beauty inside out. You're not healthy if you're smoking. And me, of course, it's better to go to the gym and martial arts and eating healthy, and this is something I've been to a certain degree doing, especially the last years. Oh, actually, I normally, when I'm in training mode, I eat healthy food for the nutrition, like much oatmeal and vegan protein powder, and okay, that's the second thing I mentioned on my healthy list. But good food, no super duper food, much vegetables with different functions. And of course, much seeds, like sunflower seeds, chia seeds. Yeah, my diet is weird because I don't care too much about the taste. Just add stuff in my blender and drink it up, because when you're eating like 5 or 6 meals a day, you're never really hungry. So, but oatmeal has been my friend. I'll just stick to oatmeal because it's no importance in this matter. The case is when I smoke, like, I don't know, 25, 30 a day. It's a little bit like kaboom. But yeah, I wanted to be healthy, and yeah, one day I wanted to try how is a very healthy life, because it always been something and I'm still not in goal. Kick the cigarettes, and we're gonna tune in on cigarettes. But I definitely wanted to glow, shine like the healthy people on TV. I need to go back to the book a little bit, the Alan Carr book. I'm not gonna risk saying the title wrong, but you're definitely in the neighborhood if you call it finally non-smoker, or yeah. There's some things, if you're reading the book, there are some things that's very important to understand. If you haven't already, when you read it, you'll probably notice a few things. I don't know. I don't read much books. Honestly, it's not because I'm too smart. It's because I need to be very interested in the stuff I'm reading for it to be interesting. And if not, I like to visualize more. But I can read. And I read the book, and I did notice something. That is his tendencies of repeating himself a lot. And I was thinking, is this like I don't know, what is this? It's not bad writing or bad memory, for God's sake. It's brainwashing. You can definitely call it brainwashing. You can call it hypnotizing. It's there with a purpose. You can call it hypnosis. You can call it whatever you want, but it does affect your so-called your addiction. So So if you can't stop smoking, you definitely will feel different, and I'll try to explain my opinion why that is. And I am also going to go against his advice in some things. But that's of course, his way is the ideal way. But yeah, I want to use myself as an example as well there. I smoked for about 30 years. I had a few years off. I'm getting close to 44 years old. Approximately 30 years. I started when I was 11 years old. But first there was wooden sticks. You know, when you're smoking, pretending you're smoking. Entonces, and then I started smoking normal cigarettes. It was very normal where I'm from at a young age. But I did not inhale. Honest. I just pulled it into my mouth. I inhaled it into my mouth, and like you see in bad acting movies. And then people were starting to give me a hard time about tongue cancer. And eventually, of course, I started inhaling down to my lungs to fix the tongue cancer problem. I was about to become a hypochondriac and give myself tongue cancer if I can continue like that. Crazy but true. And I was only 11 years old. But addiction, I get back to it. I'm going to show you a physical experiment. And this is something I want you to do. So I want you to find a napkin or breathable paper, toilet paper, whatever, kitchen paper, as long as it's breathable. Napkin is to be preferred, but I want you to find it. If you already stopped smoking, don't use this as an excuse to start again. I'll give you a little time. If you have your cigarette lit up, a napkin, I want you to take your normal drag, but do not inhale. I'm not quoting Bill Clinton this time. Do not inhale. You keep it in your mouth, and then you hold your paper in front of your mouth like a filter. You drag it into your mouth and you blow it out through the paper. And then you look at the paper. That's a beautiful kiss mark. It's just to give you a little illustration. You probably haven't seen before. You've probably seen the photos, the scary photos. Yes, they are scary, but it's a very big cynicism behind it. The photos on the cigarette packs, they are scary for smokers, yes. But I dare to say it's not enough to. It's horrible for the people who are non-smokers. They see it the way it is, when smokers see it, it's horrible as well, but you're not going to get to that stage because you're going to stop much sooner. That, my friend, is part of your addiction personality. And it's also part of a big cynical industry, because it gives the illusion that they don't want you to smoke, or we need to be brutal to make people stop smoking. So why aren't they removing tobacco, the packs with cigarettes, instead of putting scary markers on it? You have to think, you have to question these things. As much cynical psychology behind it. Because smokers are always going to stop smoking soon. Now I'm going to ask you one thing, and I'm not interested in the part of the answer you may think, but maybe you don't have the overview, maybe you don't have, maybe you don't actually know because you're smoking all day, chain smoking. But if I ask you, how much do you smoke? Your answer will, guaranteed, I'll bet. Okay, take a second, think what you want to answer. Now, I'm not interested in a number. I'm interested in the two last words. A day. You smoke X cigarettes a day. Where is that? Why don't you tell me how much you smoke in a week or in a month? It's always you smoke, for example, a pack a day, 10 a day, 5 cigarettes a day. That too, my friend, is part of your cynical addiction. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit realistic and tell you my journey in this very long video. I'm sorry, it's my first one. I'm trying not to track off. Maybe I should have made like 20 videos with this content, but I need to start somewhere. What we're going to do, we're going to isolate like Elan Carr, but we're going to do it a little differently, because you have to focus, you have to think, okay, you want to stop smoking, you get overwhelmed. By whom? You get overwhelmed by, some may call it addiction. I would like to call it addiction personality, like multiple personalities, which in psychiatric terms is a very rare diagnosis, but not really, because it's not an exaggeration to call it multiple personalities, because you're fighting a war against yourself, against parts of your head that you do not control. And that goes for all addictions. So what do we do to make you go a little out outside your own head to see, isolate your addiction and see what's what. I get it because I used to be there as well. And that's what to do that, you have to focus. You have to focus, but not the way you used to. You have to see, you have to not think addiction, don't think how much time, don't think anything. I'll give you an example, because sometimes addictions are far beyond crazy also for addicted people. I had a horrible experience 1 week ago. I was witnessing something. Me and 3 of my friends were outside and smoked. We had a cigarette break. This is on a curfew and big road, and I see on the other side there's a bus stop and a car with the engine running, standing in the bus stop. And I see this relatively young man kneeling behind the car, and I was thinking, what the fuck's going on? Is he trying to hide from the driver? Maybe rob and my friends as well. And he kneeled down, and I was thinking, this. My friends were called. We were, what you doing? What you doing? And you know the exhaust where the smoke comes out of the engine? He inhaled with all his fucking face, nose and mouth. And you could see this big fucking cloud exit. He inhaled and exhaled. I was thinking, my one friend called 911. Come on. We were, of course, very shocked, and I ran over the road and I kicked him very with good intention. And he was like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know if he was high or what he was. And I said to him, I'm not trying to hurt you, I'm trying to help you, you need help. What you're doing is very dangerous. So I held him down. My friends came to my aid, and we waited for ambulance or whoever would come. Definitely psychiatry. Maybe 10 minutes later, the whole street was flashing with blue lights. It was not only one. I thought it was ambulance. It was not only one. It was one for all of us. Because it was so much smoke that we thought they didn't know who was who. So they kneeled us all and put us all in restraints, so what do you call? And we were like, no, it's not us. And this one authority figure, he said, yes, it's you, it's all of you. He took away our cigarettes and he put out the engine of the car. And I read on the side of the ambulance, when the smoke started clearing up, I tried, is it police? why is the ambulance so strict? They're not violent or anything, but they're acting towards us as we were towards the first guy. And it's a fucked up thing, and as you know where on the side of the car where it normally says ambulance or police, or it says genuine personality control patrol. A little bit proud of that one. I made it up myself. It puts things in perspective. I tried. You need to think a little bit, reflect yourself. I'm just putting it out there. But I'm gonna go a little bit against the book, and I'm gonna try to I have tried stop smoking without substitutes, and here I want to be a little more soft than Alan because when I stop smoking without any help or substitute, no matter how prepared, I get this, like, it's embarrassing to say, but I get so emotional, fucked up, like a mix of sad and I can cry, it's so intense, and I have absolutely no idea how to handle it. It's so like a mix of angry and sad and irritable and just, and then you're feeding your addiction, you're feeding your snake or troll or whatever you want to call it when you're like that, and addiction takes power, and so is this how my life will be now? Is this healthy? Okay, it's temporal, but why? I just read the worst part is over in 3-4 days, and but then I read one person is like suicidal after 4 weeks. So what the fuck? Where's the timeline? Oy, oy, oy. And normally, and then of course I'm panicking a little bit because I'm thinking I only have like 11 years of experience with this condition, non-smoker. And I usually give in because I find a reason, I need more planning, and then I want to try again. And that, my friend, is another little piece of your addiction, and it may take decades. So I found a cure, and I started manipulating. I wouldn't say cure, it's out there, but you have to think to do it right. I used nicotine chewing gums. I used 4 milligrams, and I don't want to give you advice on what you should do, but this is my experience, and I can guarantee you it's better to recommend nicotine chewing gums if you absolutely absolutely, I shouldn't say this, but cannot stop smoking cigarettes, because it is a cure if you want it to be. But then you have to separate, and this you have to do yourself, you have to separate your psychological and physical addiction. And now we're getting surgical. You have to ask yourself, what is physical, what is psychological? I don't give a shit if one part is stronger than the other. There's also something to be very aware of, as that's when you have to, many people say the physical part is over in 2-3 days, but the psychological part is years. There's no difference. When you're psychologically addicted, there's no difference in the fucking body. The body addiction, if you want to get out of that, okay, think about this. This is, okay, like Alan Carr say, it's not even strong enough to wake you up when you're sleeping. You know, wake up because you want a cigarette. So why is that when it's an emergency to fly 3 hours? If I have to middle land, it's an emergency. If I can't find I don't know, I hate security control. I just hate it. I just hate I never get it. One thing for my hat, and one thing for my always stress. No possible for me to go through without stressing. But if you middle land, for example, in some airports it's not legal to smoke anywhere. You have to go outside and you have to go back inside through another new security control. And I was always so desperate for that cigarette after 3 hours. And I go home. To make a long story short, I sleep for 8 hours voluntarily. So when I decided, okay, you have snus. I don't know if you have like chewing tobacco, or you have, that's a little bit on the rough side. Nicotine chewing gums is no near as toxic as tobacco. So if you chew many chiclets over the recommended limits, it's still not close to that dangerous, and you're saving your lungs. So where I'm from, I experienced many people stop by using snus. Thing you put under your lip. That's easy. That's like giveaway. But when it comes to chiclets, with nicotine, they do not. I don't know how many people are recommended as okay. What I did was I pretended. I told myself, okay, the chewing gums is snus, and I used it as snus. And as many people chew all the time, and they get the hiccups, and that's because they're chewing it wrong. You're supposed to chew it a little bit, and you put it, I don't know, where you want, between the cheek and but I always put it here or here. And then this is the time where I had to say to myself, okay, because I put the chewing gum, I get back to that. here, after chewing it a little bit, and I close my eyes and I'm thinking, okay, now the nicotine is spreading in my body. So the physical part is getting its shut the fuck up body. And it takes about 3-4 minutes. It's not the same kick, but do not come to me and say it's not working. So now you have a live example which you can experiment. You take one chiclet, and you let it work. But before you take the chiclet, you want a cigarette. Let's say this is day one. You want a cigarette, of course, in the morning. And you very fast, I recommend having it on a night table. You take it you chew it under your lip and let it work. And before it works, you ask yourself, how much do I want a cigarette right now? And you, 12 out of 10. You wait 5 minutes, ask yourself the same question. If necessary, if you panic, take 2. Okay, let's use 2 as 8 milligrams of nicotine chewing gum. But the principle is the same, because there will come a point where your body addiction is fed with nicotine. It's gotten its dosage. So if you tell me or yourself, shit don't work, I want cigarettes just as much as I wanted 5-10 minutes ago, that, my friend, is in your head. And it's not true. And if it works on me, why does it not work on so many others? That's the case. And if you hear expressions such as it's only psychological, be aware. Because everything you experience in your life is psychological. Or it goes, I don't know if you make a big difference of psychic, it's psychological. Everything goes through your filter, psychological filter. Everything you see, everything you think, everything you experience, every sense. So do not underestimate psychological. Yeah, you get the drill. I'm gonna finish off because I'm getting close to 1 hour, and this was, I'm not sure if, I'm gonna make more videos, much more professionals. That's why I made this so damn amateur, because then I know that next one will be a Oscar candidate. In comparison, there's one big catch with nicotine chewing gum, or if you want to use chewing tobacco, everything is better than, say, smoking. You have to stop smoking, but you have to control your psyche, you have to control your mind, and not panic. You have to tell yourself, but it's like eating another bread, but the same amount when you're very hungry, and still think, no, this bread is not working, I'm still as hungry. It's the same logic, my man, or woman, lady, gentleman. It's the same logic. The rest is in your head. And you have to understand, you are the one who wants to stop smoking. All the good things are there. If you're in a shitty spot right now, it will be good to have a cigarette, you think. You're gonna have a shitload of remorse after you fed your addiction. We're gonna in the next videos, I don't know if you make any sense of this. I could have probably boiled it down to 10 minutes, but this is the raw material. And I'm talking very low because I don't want to wake up my neighbors. I have 160 days of cigarettes today and 3,556 cigarettes not smoked. I have used nicotine pouches, but that's getting like illegal now. I don't know why. I think I know why. Because it's a very horrible drug. I know it's something like that in France or something. But you may experience one thing, and that's probably what Alan Carr was all about. And you have to think what's best for you. You have to be very careful. That's the mistake I made. Because you are still addicted to nicotine, but you're not smoking. So you're taking it in a very, I can't say healthy because it's not healthy, but not close to as dangerous. Many people say it's in the same level as drinking coffee. I don't know, honestly, but it's not close to smoking. And your lungs are saying that's the fucked up thing, because you want cigarettes so much, and at the same time your lungs are saying thank you. Your body is healing and so grateful, and your mind think it's a horrible that's there you have it. It's two different factors, so you have to question yourself. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little tired. You have to be aware of two things when it comes to the transition. If you're going from cigarettes to let's say nicotine chewing gums. If you smoke much, I definitely, without any hesitation, recommend 4 milligram. I don't know if it's still that stupid system that 2 milligram is the same price as 4 milligram, but that means you have to pay double for 2 milligram. So be aware of that. It's better to buy 4 milligram and split it up in two, or and I personally I don't know if it's like that for everybody, but I personally don't recommend anything with mint taste, like peppermint or mint or menthol, or because it's very nauseating, if that's a word. Personally, I prefer tropical fruit or fruit. I'm not paid to recommend this. I'm speaking of my experience making stop smoking. And that's not so important, but it's if you want to try the spray, if you have an alcohol problem, you should know, I think it's much alcohol in the mouth spray. I know it sounds a little hysterical, but it's dangerous for some. And you have the, what do you call it, the patches. I don't have any personal success with them. I have to say, they peel off, they fall off. I personally recommend snus. Chewing gum for metal gum. I made it 2 years with chewing gums. But okay, Alan Carr. There was a Sunday, and that means everything is closed. Everything except gasoline stations. And I was living in a place a little far from anything, but the gasoline station had tobacco, but absolutely not chewing gums. I was running out. It was Sunday, that's why it was, and I had run out of chewing gums. It's fucked up. It's not an excuse, and believe it or not, this was 2 years. As long as I had chewing gums, I had no problem because I broke the code. But when I did not have the chewing gums, it felt like I was on day 3 without smoking, and I relapsed. Because I didn't want chewing gum, I wanted tobacco. So that's the price, that's the measurement, that's the thing you need to find out yourself. But if it's and of course I can think, Mother Mia, I was climbing 2 years on a mountain and I fell all the way back down. No, I did my lungs a big favor. I saved I gave them much time to heal. And after that, quitting smoking wasn't that hard. I also know people over 90 years old, close to 100, no 19, but 90. And they see, yeah, you have to think about how you want to approach it. But one thing is urgent. You have to stop smoking. You have to avoid panic, and do not wait. Make your plans. Go to the pharmacy and always buy the big, I think it's 204, because the larger number, lower price. If you go to the pharmacy, you buy like 30, I think it's very expensive, depends on where you are. Other substitutes, if you have any questions about my tour, I'll be glad to give it to you. I'll try to answer as good as honest as possible, but I now have this APP. I have 161 days and 3,000. Now it's probably 3,600 cigarettes unsmoked. The price is chewing gum or nicotine pouches. It depends on where I am, as long as it's not cigarettes. And that's, if you can stop all of it, like Alan Carr recommends, mad kudos to you. It's insane. I like to take a little more soft transition, because it's enough time to understand what is what, but do not say it doesn't work. I can't, okay, if I go and buy a pizza in a restaurant and I eat all of it, I say it didn't work. I'm still as hungry. This is bullshit. So crazy like the man with the the car. So are we. If you followed, seriously, thank you very much. Please leave a comment. Chill out with this is not for an Oscar. I'm gonna be better at this with time. I hope you can hear me. That's my biggest issue right now. And I will make more videos. I just need to yeah, I need a better script. I need to stop reading my script, and I need to look in the camera. I know I look like this. But I have 161 days. And Anthony Hopkins managed to just walk away. Maybe you can as well. But I myself cannot. I had to. No, mad respect if you... It's definitely doable to stop. I'm just giving you a plan B.